Okay, so now we'll have a look at some of the concepts of indexing and see how indexing can help us you to speed up the operations, right operations. Okay, so first we will connect to the MongoDB server and the MongoDB client. So we'll say MongoD. First will become the root user. Now we'll say MongoD db path /var /lib /mongo. So this will start your MongoDB server, and this server would be waiting for the connections on the default port number, which is 27017. Okay. Now what we will do is we will start up another console, and there we will start our MongoDB client. So now you can see in the first console that one connection is accepted and one connection is open now. So in this, we will say show DBs. This will list all the databases that are available. So in this, we can see that we have a database called as bookstore, which we had created earlier. So we will use this bookstore database. So we will say use bookstore. Okay. Now we will say show collections. So this will list all the collections that are present inside this bookstore database. So out of this, this is the collection my bookstore that has the documents that we have dumped earlier. So we will make use of this my bookstore collection. So let's see what kind of documents are there in my bookstore collection. So we'll say db dot my bookstore dot find dot pretty, and this is what we have, around 14 books. Okay, total what we have in this is around 14 books with different information like the title, category, then publisher, author, store, comments. Out of this, underscore id and underscore 20 are some bad data. So what we will do is we'll remove those bad data first, so that when we will be applying indexes like the unique and spark indexes, at that time we won't get any problems of bad data, because these two don't have the title key title into it. So when we would be using the unique index, then that time we may have a problem. Okay, so what we will do is first of all we need to delete these two documents in from our collection. So we will say db dot my bookstore dot remove, and we'll say that remove the document with underscore id 19. Okay, and remove the document with underscore id 20. Now if we do find.pretty, then we have 12 ones. Okay, the two bad data is removed. Now we are ready to go and start our indexing operations. So first of all, what we will do is we will try to see the importance of indexing. So we will run a simple query. We'll say db dot my bookstore dot find all documents, find all documents where the store is Cine Book Office. Okay, and let's say only display the store information, don't display anything else. So we have two books which are sold in the store called as Cine Book Office. Okay, so let's find out the importance of indexing. So what we'll do now is we'll say that db.find all the documents having the store Cine Book Office and explain the query execution. We'll say explain the query execution. So now you can see that the number of scanned objects and scanned documents is 12. number of documents and objects scanned to retrieve this operation or to retrieve the result of this operation is 12. Okay, so now what we will do is we'll say db dot my bookstore, and we'll apply an index by using the method ensure index. Okay, and we have to apply the index on the field store. So we'll say apply it on store. Okay, so now it is saying that it is index is created, and now we are okay to go with. So now what we'll do is we'll execute the same query again, the previous one, and then see the difference. Now you can see that the number of scanned objects and number of scanned documents is only 2. Earlier it was 12, now it is only 2. Okay, so this is the importance of indexing, that your indexing will speed up your operation. Your indexing will speed up your operations. Next up, there are different types of indexes. This one is a single key index. There is also one type of index called as a compound key index. Okay, so now let's see a compound key index, how it looks like. So we'll say db dot my bookstore dot find. Okay, we'll again say that find the same bookstore, which is your Cine Book Office. Okay, and this time also find author. The author can be George Helix. Okay, and we'll do, let's see this first, the result first. Display only store and author. Okay, so here's a space in between. So there are two authors, one is George Helix and one is Dev Shinde. Okay, so what we'll do is now let's run this query and see explain into it. So we'll say that the store is Cine Book Office and the name of the author is George Helix. Okay, and now we will explain this query. Let's explain the query execution. So now you can see that because a single value index is already applied on store, so what we have is the number of scanned objects is 2 and the number of scanned documents is also 2. So now what we'll do is we'll ensure a compound key index on author and store. So we will say db dot my bookstore dot ensure index on store and on author. Okay, and now we'll run the same query again. So now you can see that the number of scanned objects and number of scanned documents is only 1. Earlier it was 2, now it is only 1. So again, this is how the even the compound indexes will help you to speed up the query execution. Okay, now what we will do is we will drop all the indexes that are applied on this collection so far. So we'll say db dot my bookstore dot drop indexes. So this will drop all the indexes from your collection. Remember, only the non-ID collections indexes are dropped. The underscore ID collection index will still be there because it would be the primary index from your MongoDB's perspective. Even if you don't use it, MongoDB will use it for internal searching and sorting. Okay. Now what we will do is we will create a unique index. Now I'll perform some operations, and then we'll just observe what exactly happened in this operations together. So we'll say db dot my bookstore dot ensure index on title. Okay, and we'll say that this index is going to be unique. So we'll say unique is true. Okay, now we will try to insert some document. So we'll say db dot my bookstore dot insert underscore id. We have it till 12, so we'll use underscore id 13. Then title is let's see what we have. Display only the title. So what we have is Humpty Dumpty. Okay, so let's use day in, which is a simple thing, right? It's day and in. So the title that I want to insert is day in. No need of inserting other stuff. So if we try to insert this now, let's insert one more thing, which is available. Available units is, let's say, 100. So now if we try to insert this, it gives us an error saying that a duplicate key is we are trying to insert a duplicate value for the key title, and title is we have given it as a unique index. Okay, so this is what unique index will do for you. It will avoid the insertion of the duplicate values. Okay, now what we will do is we'll keep the unique index there, and we'll try to insert again something. Let's remove this title field, and let's have only available and bookings. Okay, and bookings will keep at 75. And now we'll try to insert this. So it got inserted. So now if I do db dot my bookstore dot find, where the underscore id is 13, then I have this document which is inserted. Okay, so now what we'll do is we'll try to insert again a similar kind of document. We'll say 102, and this is, let's say, 76, and the value of underscore id is 14. Okay, so now if we try to insert this, it is again giving us an error that on title you're trying to insert a duplicate value. Why? Because it considers null also as a value. It will consider null as value. Here we have not given the title field, means actually internally the value of the title field is null. In our my bookstore collection, actually we have the title key as well. We also have the title key, right? But what we have done is we have only mentioned three keys. So for other all the keys, internally MongoDB will assign a null value. Okay, so this my bookstore now will not allow you to insert a document, one more document or another document with a null title value. Okay, but if you want to do this now, what you can do is we'll say db dot my bookstore dot drop indexes. So first we'll drop all the indexes. Okay. Then we will say that db dot my bookstore dot ensure index on the title field. Okay. And we will say that is unique is true. We'll also say that something called as a sparse value for the unique index is also true. Okay. And now we'll execute this. Okay. Now we will try to insert the same query again which failed earlier. So this was the insert query that failed earlier, and now if we try to insert it, it gets inserted. So now if I do this, then see, it is now successfully inserted. So this is because the sparse will tell MongoDB that do not consider null as a value. Don't consider null as a value. Okay. Now let's see some more operations that you can perform in indexing. So what you can do is, instead of dropping all the indexes, you can drop one specific index as well. So you'll say db dot my bookstore dot drop index, and the index that you have to drop is title. Okay. So indexes drop now. Now if you want to restore all the indexes again, so what you can do is you will say db dot my bookstore dot reindex, and this will restore all your indexes. Okay. Now if you want to check all the indexes on your collection, then what you can do is you'll say db dot my bookstore dot get indexes. Okay, so what you have is only one index which is on underscore id field. So these are some of the operations that you can perform using indexes. Okay, and you can use indexes for different operations, to speed up the operations, to enforce some constraint, to enforce some restrictions on the use and retrieval of your collect documents inside the collection. Okay, so this is all from this video. Thank you.